Happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Halloween. The spooky edition of the Final Whistle. Glad for y'all to join us. Happy Tuesday. And yes, it's Halloween. And you see, we got the all-star panel. We got new people in here. I'm Bob the builder. Matt the builder. We want to welcome everybody. Let's go around the horn. We don't have Pinky, but we got Stinky.
Oh, say something else. Say something else.
No, sorry.
And it's over.
I love it. And everybody, the one and only Chris James, aka Dan's big brother. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm a content creator tonight.
I love it.
Work from home, baby. That's how you look when they working from home.
What you got?
Creating a lot of content with that.
You got your Jerry curl up under there? I mean, what's going on, buddy?
I got this Peruvian, the silky wavy that I can. You all right up there, Ray? You all right, Ray?
Don't ask me because I can't see your hairline, boy.
Ray, the Alabama fan.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? Hit the road. LSU, don't come back because we're about to whoop that tail. Let go, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, Ray in the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got the one and only Connor Stallion's best friend, Blaze Haynes. How you doing? Been spying on some Michigan games?
Listen, allegedly Blaze is involved with the scandal there. It goes all the way to the Lithuanian government, which is why Ty is now handling that. Blaze is here, and I'm the one who taught Connor Stallions how to cheat, and that's why he's so darn effective. All right? If you're going to do something, you do it well, and you see to it you do it well.
I love it.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. The right, Blaze.
That's right. That's what I said.
And
Roll Tide.
Ladies and gentlemen, possibly our next head coach, not Lane Kiffin, but his cousin, Lou Kiffin. How are you doing?
I'm just happy to be here. I'm trying to correct a mistake that was done years ago, but we're gonna see what happens. If I had a mic, I'd drop it, but I don't. So I'm just happy to be here.
Man, I thought I saw you at Galette's the other day. Joey Freshwater, is that what it is?
I saw him too.
I love it. And ladies and gentlemen, we got special guests. Is this Sub-Zero, aka Chris Owens, national champion, offensive lineman? How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I got a concert tonight, so I'm just getting ready for my concert.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the all-star panel for this night's Halloween edition of the Final Whistle. That's what we do here, where we give you comedy. Obviously, we're giving you spooks, we give you laughter, but we're breaking down the X's and O's. And yes, it's my favorite week of the season. LSU week. We got these boys coming from Bayou down there in Baton Rouge, coming to T-Town. And you know how it went down last year. Let's get into our first topic.
Wait, we have a super chat.
Hold on before we get into all that, fellas. Okay. As always, we're brought to you by the folks at Workspace Solutions. If your business needs a digital presence, full-fledged marketing team, or has a number of other business needs, these are the guys you want coaching your team. Visit them at workspacepros.com today.
Love it.
Who y'all think got Blaze out from Lithuania?
Workspace. So, shouts out to Adam Lamparello, $20 super chat. Let's get to it. Kicking things off here. Hey guys, I'm worried about our secondary against LSU. I think they're vulnerable. What do you think? I'll go first. I know LSU has a top-powered offense, but you got to kind of take it you got to respect them, respect the challenge, whatever. Chris knows about this, being on the Saban. You got to respect the opponent. But when I break down who they have played and where those defenses they have played, majority of them ranked in the 30s, even FSU's defense. So, I'm not worried. I think Alabama's battle-tested leading up to this game. I think we played KJ Jefferson, a mobile kind of quarterback. We played Milton. We played Texas with their receivers. We played Texas A&M with their receivers. I think we're confident in our secondary going into this game. I think they're gonna have a great game plan. But for me, I think it starts all up front with the D line. So I'm gonna pass it to Blaze, Mr. Blaze Hayes. Give us your thoughts on this topic.
Listen, I think one of the things we have to acknowledge is Alabama already played what I believe to be one of the best receiving corps in the nation, and that's what they have in Austin. I mean, seriously, guys, Jonte Cook, a quasi five-star receiver, he's working in reps at slot there. They have Isaiah Noor. They have so much talent down there, and that's going to be big for preparation for this game, and Alabama faced that week too. I personally think LSU has a top 5 offense in the nation. And I think that's going to look good when Alabama beats them moving forward for their chances to get into the playoffs. And personally, guys, I think that the committee thinks LSU's got a top offense as well. They came in as a top 15 team. There's no doubt, Adam, that these wide receivers for LSU, they're dangerous. But we got to remember, you might have the best cornerback duo in the nation on Alabama's roster. And that's before I even start speaking about the safety play. And to tie it all together, they get to practice against Jalen Milroe every single day. Jaden Daniels' legs killed them last year. I don't think they're going to be as susceptible this year, especially with Kevin Steele there. So, yeah, I think they're well prepared.
Let's go to our resident DB, Chris, a.k.a. James.
Okay.
Thoughts about our secondary versus LSU from Adam Lamparello. Our $20 super chat.
Okay, well, I first off, I think it's this is a NFL matchup, man. Because you think about it, you have all those NFL receivers that LSU have, all 3 of them, Thomas, Neighbors, Lacey, all those guys are going to play on Sundays. And then you look at Bama secondary, you have Kool-Aid McKinstry, Malachi Moore, Terrion Arnold, and Amos. And all those guys are going to play on Sundays. So this is like kind of like that 2019 matchup. But hopefully we'll be on the winning side of it this time. But the advantage to us and our situation is we can afford to play man and, keep one high. Like we don't have to drop 8 in the coverage to keep them contained. Yeah. We can kind of lock up one high safety, send 5, have one to spy on Jaden Daniels. There's a lot of things we can do. Send 5, send 6, or whatnot. But the number one concern is containing him, because once he gets out of that pocket and starts the rolling, looking downfield, or he pulls it down, if we can keep him inside that pocket and just make it uncomfortable for him, and that's why Tim Keenan is so critical, vital, and Otis as far as collapsing the pocket from the inside. Don't give him room to step up and make those throws. If we can keep him on a run to where he has a one side of the field read, I think our corners can hold up on that. But when he has a whole field of scan, and he has all day to throw it, we can't do that. So I like our matchup, man, because I think Kool-Aid and Terry on the 2 of both of them. I really believe that both of them they're definitely top 10 corners overall in college football, and I think they may perhaps be top 5, because I think if Terry Owens to come out this year, he'll jump up in that first round after working out and testing. I think he'll jump up in that first round. So I love the matchup, and that's their strength. So we take that away, man. We're playing with house money.
I love it. Chris Owens, what do you think? Are you confident in our secondary? Are you nervous against LSU? What are your thoughts?
As far as the secondary, no, not really. I think Blaze made a good point bringing up the receivers from Texas. And as well as A&M. A&M has some really good receivers as well. They played pretty well in that game. I think as the season's gone on, they've gotten more comfortable, and that pass rush is starting to come along as well, kind of taking that pressure off the secondary so they don't have to cover for 5, 6, 7 seconds. And especially against a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, if you get him running around, letting him be an improviser, that's kind of where things get sticky for you. So, yeah, especially up front, the front 7, D-Law, whoever else is going to play next to him, Dallas, Tim, all those guys up front, they got to generate that pressure and let the secondary kind of play more aggressive so they can feel like they can play a little more free.
Love it. I love it. Stinky, don't spill your yak, but give us your thoughts real quick.
Yeah, man. Look, it's definitely going to be a challenge, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge that I think we can live up to. You know what I'm saying? So I like the matchup of our DBs against their wide receivers as long as we don't have our 5-star DN covering the slot anymore. You know what I'm saying? I think we match up well this week.
I agree.
No, let's keep Jaden Daniels in the pocket so we can let this week. I want Tim Keenan to eat. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to run. You know they got a great rushing attack as well. Yeah. So you know that's where we're gonna need Tim and Otis to hold up, do what they've done all year, be stout against the run, the interior run. You know, and I think we're gonna be very successful.
Smoot, then Lou Kiffin. Give me your thoughts.
I
mean,
secondary. I don't think our secondary. I think our secondary matches up better against this style of offense compared to what we've seen. It's going to force us into more man situations. Kool-Aid, he released the gym, doesn't even know it. But mentioning Trey Amos and answering his question earlier, when they asked, you know, how confident, how good does it feel to be considered 2 lockdown corners in Arnold and McKinstry, you know, having 2 shutdown corners. Kool-Aid went on to throw Trey Amos's name, and we've seen Trey Amos step up and handle that spot as the boundary corner, but we also know that that Arnold plays a lot better from that star position. When we talk about coverage, giving us better coverage, downfield, bump and run, yeah, alley-oop. I'm gonna throw it to my boy because I don't want to take. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, man.
Coach Lou.
You know, in the film we was watching this week, it got real hot. But one thing we did notice that Alabama does seem to have a lot of talent in the secondary, specifically as the aforementioned Trey Amos. Now, I seem to think that they might break with the new formation that might actually put in checkmate LSU's offense. Because they have 3 receivers. Yes, they do. But Alabama's got corners, I mean, let's be honest, for days. And they can cover. And they're playing in to, like, let's not forget, it's the GOAT's, Nick Saban's birthday. Can we take a second to shout out Nick Saban's birthday?
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, the GOAT. Everybody, happy birthday. Back to the show. But as I'm saying, we're talking about the GOAT on his birthday week, the position he coaches. So you expect me, Lou Kiffin, to believe that he's not going to have them boys ready to play? I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I see Jaden Daniels, that little interception total, possibly climbing 1 or 2, possibly 3 notches, because they also have that number 2, and I'm going to call him an All-American safety because the boy's playing like the top safety in America as a freshman, Caleb Downs. I mean, he's either going to pick him or he's going to smack him. It's either one of the two is going to happen. So I don't think our secondary is going to have a problem. I think our secondary wins this game and possibly a pick 6 to the house. And for the second straight time, takes the top Heisman candidate off the map.
Yep.
Because the last one that came in talking that gangster stuff, we remember how 7 went. 5 ain't going to be no different.
Yeah, that's right.
You heard it from Lou Kiffin. Lou Kiffin.
Opposing team.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say our DBs will be like Debo?
Nah, they ain't gonna be. Nah, they're
gonna
be better than that. They're gonna be better than that.
I love it. Let's stay on this DB topic. I mean, Chris, Smook, I want to get y'all thoughts. Coach Lou, you brought up a good point saying we play checkmate. Is playing checkmate to that secondary? Because I think what they're gonna try to do, I think they're gonna try to attack number 6 at the safety position. I think they're gonna try to attack that. Do you think we come out and put Terry on at star and then put Malachi there and play checkmate? Coach Smoot, your thoughts?
Please, Chris, and I'm a alley-oop this to Chris if y'all don't mind after, because we talked about this lineup at the beginning of the season when they said Smitty went down.
Yeah.
And last game, if you go and look in the second quarter, beginning of the third quarter, because Arnold didn't get hurt until after the second score in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So if you go and look at that first drive, when Tennessee went 4 true wide, they had Arnold at star. They had Moore at the other money. They had him at money, basically mirroring the strong side. Arnold was playing the number 2 receiver on the weak side, opposite of the running back or whatever. I think they had a tight end on that set when we saw that. They didn't have a back in the backfield with Milton. So if LSU is going to either motion into that a lot, or they're going to come out with no back in the backfield, because Jaden Daniels has shown his pocket presence is like no other this year. His offensive line is not great, but I'm going to alley-oop it to Chris to give you the prospective lineup we might see that I expect us to see, because I remember us two literally calling out this same lineup. So Chris, throwing it to you, brother.
Yeah, I think that Six has gotten better as he's Jalen Keith's gotten better as the season has progressed. You see what I'm saying? Because just jumping into the Nick Saban defense without going through spring is a tough thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So he seems to be playing faster now that he gets it and more physical. So I don't think they can necessarily sit there where they can just say, okay, we're going to target him, because unlike Golden, still can make adjustments.
Yeah,
as he showed you how he shut down Tennessee in the second half. He's the master of adjustments. And keep in mind, the last time we saw a high-powered LSU offense, who was the only team that year to slow them down? If y'all remember, trivia question.
Auburn, wasn't it?
Auburn. And guess who was the D coordinator at Auburn that year?
Kevin Steele.
There it is. So
Kevin
Steele,
don't forget to mention he kept a top 30 ranked defense every year he was at Auburn, including the year they lost they 2 defensive tackles at the same season.
So basically, even if they're going at them, it's ways around it, man. You can drop him down to be a robber. You don't have to necessarily have him, man. He can drop down and be a robber. You can make Caleb the high safety, or you can have him, if you go and cover 3 or the pit, drop him in the flat. It's so much you can do with him. You can blitz him. You can have a spine coming down, dropping down, spine the quarterback. It's a way to take a guy out of coverage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because you already got 5 other DBs on the field. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a way to neutralize that. So I'm not worried about them attacking them like my guy was like they attacked Helms last year against Tennessee. It's ways around it. So to make a long story short, man, that lineup, we've been talking about that lineup since fall camp. Like with Arnold playing the slot. And then keep in mind, you also got guys that's waiting, that's hungry, like Earl Little Jr. Something that happens. So we have guys numbers for days. So coverage isn't the problem. The real key is going to be, we're going to stop Diggs, their running back. Yeah. That's the key. We shut that running back, that running game down and make them one-dimensional. Jay Daniels not going to last the whole game, because you saw Missouri like to knock them out, Ole Miss like to knock them out, and we have more ferocious guys in both of those defenses. So he taking a lot of heat from those guys. Yeah, so those hits he'll be taking from those guys, and they land on. We take away the run the way he has to throw it 40 times a game. He might not last, guys. So
he won't.
Chris,
hey, I got a question. For y'all, because I genuinely don't know. How often does LSU move their receivers around? Like, do they just stay X, Y, field boundary? How do they move them?
Malik Neighbors plays all over the field. Brian Thomas line up on both sides, but Malik Neighbors, sometimes he's at X, sometimes he's at Z, sometimes he's in the slot. So that's how they scheme to get him open. You know what I'm saying? But the beauty of it all is we don't have to move. We don't have to change nothing we do defensively.
You can stay base and keep it simple. That eliminates.
Keep it short and simple.
Yep.
So you kind of talked about it, Chris. Oh, Lushan, you got something to say?
Yeah. I actually think that this might be the Alabama defensive backfield's coming out party, because they actually have a quarterback that's going to attack them. Because I feel like up to this game, there's been no quarterback. Yeah, they might have dinked and dunked, but they haven't actually attacked. Jaden Daniels
had a couple. It was young.
I mean, a few, but like a true air raid offense, I feel like our DBs are like salivating, like, oh, so it's my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, let him eat. I want to see, because we ain't seen Kool-Aid at Kool-Aid yet, and I think Kool-Aid gonna be at Kool-Aid status this weekend. Just what I heard.
We got a quick $5 chat. Thank you, Gavin Kane. Blaze, Smook, Lou. What's y'all thoughts on Lawson calling out guys for missing workouts? Love the accountability.
Hey, that kind of leads into the next segment we want to jump on, guys. That talking about how we're going to stop Jaden Daniels. Blaze, you could take the super chat first if you want to, brother.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's what leaders do. Sometimes the leader, it's not about being everybody's best friend. It's about being the person who's going to do what's best for everybody, right? And in doing that, you're looking out for everybody's best interest. And this is a collective effort. Alabama has to be completely bought in. And that's what Lawson's out there making sure happens. He understands what this team can accomplish. He knows the talent they have. I mean, this Alabama defense, I think they're still just scratching the surface of what they can do. And it's wild to say the Alabama offense is just scratching the surface of what it can do. We have just now seen I always feel like I need to bring this up. I'm 28. Tommy Rees is 31.
Yeah.
Like, this is a young dude calling plays who's never worked with a quarterback like Jalen Milroe, who now has to call the Alabama offense. There's a lot of learning that's happened. But Jalen Milroe has progressed so much as a passer. Tommy Rees is looking like maybe he found something in that Tennessee game that Alabama's offense can take off. So it's awesome to hear of Lawson keeping guys about their business, keeping guys accountable, because they know what this team can accomplish.
Right. And to piggyback right off of that, Blaze, this is a defensive-led team, whether we like it or not. The way this team is going, the way this team's success is determined is by how our defense can control the game, can set the tone for us, and then it flows to the offense and how Jalen Milroe maintains composure. So we've heard the talks of Jalen Milroe leading by example and guys willing to follow him. It's good to know that Lawson is that for sure go-to guy, the voice of that defense, and to have the skills and the product on field to back it up. That's something we haven't had in Alabama. You know, they had Toa as a leader. You know, usually you want your middle linebacker to be the voice of the defense. You want somebody in the interior on either level. They usually end up taking that role, whether it's your safety, your inside linebacker, or defensive tackle. You know, those are usually guys you kind of look for because they're in the middle of everything. So Lawson taking that step and being that leader and holding guys accountable. And guys, these are voluntary workouts that he's checking guys out. You know, this is supposed to be on their down week. He's checking guys about coming in on a down week. So to have that mentality, to know that it was young guys who just are buying into the system, new to the system, or new to college football or Alabama in general, to know that that's who he was checking and they didn't have no like extra locker room meeting with no back talk. That's type of energy I'm trying to hear.
Love it.
Go ahead, Luke.
To go basically finish off and clean up off what Smook and Blaze said. Attitude reflects the leadership. And if Deontay Lawson is doing this right now, that means he's about this life. And if he gets instilled in everybody on the defense, and that bleeds into the offense's brain, because that's what's really not clicking right now, is everybody being on the same page. If he can communicate to the rest of the team that we all buy in and we all be successful, because let's face it, he's biting off that Leonidas role right now. And if he can get everybody to follow his lead, and it's going to be fun on Saturday. I'm going to tell you what, we're going to hunt some tigers.
Speaking of hunting tigers.
They said humping.
Yeah, no, not hunting. Not yet. Not ready for my OnlyFans just yet. But speaking of hunting tigers, the main tiger for LSU is Jaden Daniels. And I know we kind of talked about defensive secondary. You know, let's talk about things that we need to do to really stop Jaden Daniels. And, you know, I'll pop it off first and I'll let Blaze go, and then I'll go with Stinky down there. I think, you know, it's important, our front seven. Obviously, our front four. I'm going to put it on our front four. You know, Turner, Braswell, Otis, Tim Keenan. If they can affect the quarterback from defensive pass rush, stopping the run from the defensive pass rush, you know, Tim Keenan, those guys, I think that's key in stopping Jaden Daniels, you know, forcing him, getting him uncomfortable in the pocket. And I'm going to throw you another one out there. I'm going to shift it to offensively. I think if we can really establish the running game versus LSU, you know, they're a little bit thin on the secondary run game, but explosive in the play, offensive playbook where we, you know, we kind of get them on their heels. We maybe go up, 2 touchdowns or whatever. I feel like, and just milk the clock, run the game, and kind of take their will and we impose our will. I think those are keys for us going against Jay Daniels Blaze.
Yeah, listen, love all of those. Alabama, I talked earlier, I think that they have the best cornerback tandem in the nation in Kool-Aid and Terry and Arnold. They also, without question, have the best edge duo in the nation in Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell. Then you have Jaheim Otis, who's been playing really well. Boygby played really well last week. Tim Keenan's been playing really well. We talk about Deontay Lawson. Do you know the name nobody's touched? And this is why Ty had to go over and battle with Workspace Solutions. If you need any help freeing someone from Lithuanian grasp, try Workspace Solutions. They're very effective. What about Campbell? I mean, when we talk about our inside linebacker duo, Jahad Campbell and Deontay Lawson possess a sideline-to-sideline athleticism that most colleges only dream of getting one guy that possesses that sort of athleticism. Alabama has them both behind that defensive front and in front of that secondary. This Alabama defense has all the makings to shut down this LSU offense. Matt, I think you make a great point. This is an LSU defense that's reeling. In many ways, and this is going to sound crazy, they are comparable to USC's defense led by none other than Alex Grinch. That's bad. Alex Grinch defenses are bad. They have always been bad. That will not change. If you can keep the ball away from them, you can find a lot of success. So Alabama's offense can also help play defense, but understand this Alabama defense may have all the makings to stop Jaden Daniels right at their disposal.
Stinky?
Yes, man. The name of the game is containing. You know what I'm saying? We have to keep them in the pocket. And what I mean by that is, Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell, get after him, but don't get too far upfield to where he's allowed to get outside the pocket and do his thing. So I think we're gonna have to use a lot of spy on him. But it's something we're capable of. But it's definitely gonna be a challenge. But I think this game is where I need for Tim Keenan to have his best game today, which has been playing excellent. But we got to definitely try to somehow keep him in the pocket while collapsing the pocket, if that makes sense.
Let's go Chris Owens, special guest, before he goes on his concert tour. You're on mute, sir.
Sorry about that. My bad.
You good?
One of the things I think about in this game is we really have to win the weighing down. So first down, second and medium, we got to keep them in third and long. Like you guys have said, we have the best edge rush tandem in the country. And so allowing those guys to pin their ears back, letting them get after the pass rush, staying in the pocket, containing them, being able to retrace if we do get too far upfield, and then have the internal pressure up the field so Jaden Daniels can't step up. All those things are going to be important. And just making sure that we can, like I said earlier, allow our defense to feel comfortable playing, make them feel like they can be aggressive without having to cover forever. So I think all the units together, especially against a guy who kind of likes to extend plays, he can kill you in the pocket, kill you outside the pocket. Just getting those guys in situations where they know they're going to have to pass rush and they can even blitz, send the extra guy, maybe send Jahad Campbell, run some games, some ETs, some stunts down the middle. Just making the defense or making the offensive line for LSU really uncomfortable, really confused, especially getting the crowd into the game as well. I think all those things can contribute to Jaden Daniels not having as good a day as he wants to.
Got it. Chris James?
Yeah, I think that our front seven, I like our front seven, man. Like I just can't take it out of my mind that played back, going back to the A&M game where who was it? Was it Otis or was it it was Otis and wasn't it Keenan that pushed that whole O-line, that guard and that center was the center guard or guard and tackle down and just were relentless. That's how I view our D-line now. And if they could be relentless, man, and get and keep Daniels off of his platform to where he's stepping up into his throws and comfortable, you make him uncomfortable, man. Like that's like a secondary's best friend is a good pass rush, where you can just make him really uncomfortable, man. And I feel like this defense has gone up even another level when we put Campbell in for Marshall. Marshall's great against the run, but Campbell's offers us something that we haven't seen since the type of athleticism we haven't seen from the inside linebacker position since. It's been many moons, man. Probably CJ Mosley, maybe, as far as athleticism and speed standpoint. Ragland was good too, but maybe since CJ Mosley. Lawson is not too far behind, Deontay Lawson. So just a speed man in that front seven with Braswell coming off the end and Dallas Turner. Both of those guys are great athletes, and just that big front man. I just feel like I think we match up well, and if we can just keep them uncomfortable, man, we'll be fine.
Let's go, Lushan and Smoot.
You know, it's all about how these players come out. If they come out with the attitude that we haven't seen yet, because we have yet to see them play 4 quarters of football, and that's what me and everybody else in this nation that wears this A so respectively, you know, if they come out and do that, I feel like this game is not really hard because we match up and we over-talent them. We outwork them. We have a program that has something that nobody else in this nation has, and that's the pride of Alabama football to play up to the Bama standard. No pun intended. But if they do that, I truly do believe that our defensive line will overwhelm them. Our offensive line will also protect Jalen on the other side. And our secondary will deal with their receivers accordingly if Jaden Daniels can get the pass off, which I truly believe this is going to be the game where our defensive line truly breaks out, because I feel like they're getting sick and tired of the disrespect that they're not getting in throughout the nation about being one of the top defensive lines. I mean, yes, our defense has been acknowledged as being one of the top defensive units, but our defensive line itself has not been recognized yet. And I think this is the game when they hold the top quarterback in the nation, the Heisman frontrunner, to very, 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 very little numbers. They take it on the chin, and Alabama rolls big.
Is that your OnlyFans? Take it on the chin?
No, I got a better one than that, Blaze. Trust me. I've been kiffing. I mean, cooking. I mean, yeah.
My take is my take on this front seven versus Jaden Daniels. I don't think it's going to be as difficult as everybody is making it. Jaden Daniels is a great quarterback, but the one thing that has always played great quarterbacks who like to extend plays, we saw it happen with Bryce Young, we saw it happen with Tua. Guys that like to extend plays and try to get the best out of every play. Guys who can't take short losses for big gains later. You know, guys who can't keep the game in phase. Jaden Daniels did that against Florida State. He made those two costly mistakes. Yeah, the guy slipped on the route when he threw the pick. He slipped on the hitch, but that was a bad pass anyways. That DB was 6-7 yard cushion and breaking on that ball before he even, you know what I'm saying, stopped and made that read. He was breaking on that receiver. So it was either going to be incomplete or picked off regardless. And it's just he gets real cocky because he has a reason to be. So I think our defensive front is going to play a key part because this is probably the first game where they're going to be able to stay sound with gap containment, but still get a nice push. Meaning, same thing Dan was highlighting earlier, you know, getting upfield on the edge, but not going past and, you know, creating new holes in the pocket, collapsing the pocket, compressing the pocket, instead of, you know, just destroying the pocket and creating other avenues, because quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels, that's what they thrive off of. They thrive off chaos and making it look like the norm. You know, we saw Bryce do it for 2 years for us. Not so much the first year, but that second year, that's what our offense was. Give Bryce the ball and hopefully he could do something special. And the difference is he has willing receivers. So getting pressure with just those front 5, front 6, maybe 7 sometimes is going to be the key. And I think the way this is set up matchup wise, guys, that offensive line is hurting for LSU. And the fortunate thing for them is they haven't faced Texas A&M. They haven't faced a Tennessee, you know, teams in the SEC with legit pass rushes. The one team that they did face, and they don't even have a dominant pass rush that actually hurt them and blitzing is FSU. So I think we get the edge in this matchup when we talk about containing Jaden Daniels.
Love it. I love it. So I know we talked about defense, stopping LSU's high-powered offense. I want to take a shift to the other side of the ball. Now I want to talk about our offense and especially our running backs. It's that second half of the season starting to get cold. Defenses got a lot of film on, these top offenses. I still think, our running back is going to be running back by committee. And so, I want to ask the panel, how do you think our running backs will carry the load? And, who do you think is going to kind of be that guy that they haven't seen that's kind of going to maybe possibly have a breakout game? I'll start it with Blaze, Mr. Lithuanian government himself.
Jesus, I'm hitting every wrong button over here. You got me all discombobulated. I wasn't expecting. Listen, Alabama's got a lot of talented running backs. The offensive line, they're so big that I think that's kind of been a negative, right? Trying to carry all that weight in pass protection, especially for an 18-year-old in Proctor. That kid's going to be phenomenal. I just hope the fan base isn't too hard on him. He's growing as the year goes on. Smook and I have talked about this. He's starting to pick up some things that are pretty difficult, like some pretty advanced concepts, some blitz that have come at him. He's going to be really good. But listen, you make this defensive front for LSU, you make them think anything can be coming at them. So whether that's Jalen Milroe running, whether that's the running backs, you have to keep your options unlimited. And Alabama luckily has the ability to do that. I think we're going to see Alabama's rushing attack have their best game this Saturday. And Jase is going to be running back one.
Nice. I love it. Chris James?
Yeah, I agree. I think that because you think about when you play a team like LSU, you want to shorten the game, because of their offense. So the only way to shorten the game is by keeping their offense off the field. So instead of scoring quick, we just kind of, like Dan says all the time, death by 1,000 cuts. So I expect us to get the running game going, trying to establish running game. And just keeping it easy, make life easier on guys like Caden Proctor, because you think about it, man. I'm thinking if I'm an LSU coach, defensive coach, what I would do, I would take Perkins out of coverage and bring him out the edge like he was so effective last year on Bryce Young, and I put him on right over there on the left side over Caden Proctor. But so thinking that there may be a possibility, I would love to see him, try to get past Caden Proctor on the running game. Caden Proctor and mow him down. So I believe that we're really going to make life easier on that freshman on that front, on that offensive line by running the ball and establishing. Because you think about it, you keep getting leaned on all game by 350 pounders. That's tough, man. You keep getting beat on by a guy, that's well over 100 pounds, 120 pounds heavier than you are, leaning on you all game. So I just think that we're gonna try to make them quit, man, like we did back in 2013, 2015, one of those years when we kind of knocked Middenberg out the game. In all those years where we got physical and had Fournette, I believe we're gonna try to bring that type of physicality to the game and just muddy it up, man. It ain't gonna be a 7-on-7 fest. Just muddy it up and get those hands on those guys, man, and just keep those chains moving.
I love it. Our resident offensive lineman, Chris Owens.
Yeah, I think I want to see more design runs for Jalen. I think that really puts a hindrance into a defense when you have to worry about another element in the run game, not just drop backs or quarterback draws, but I want to see him a part of like read options or maybe just even like normal QB powers. I want to see him running the ball a little bit more because that's another man in the run game. And the more you can lean on these guys, especially a front that they can be kind of aggressive from what I've seen in a couple of the games, but at times they do get manhandled, especially I've seen Harold Perkins look a little small against some of the bigger linemen, some of the bigger offensive tackles he's played against. And just being able to know that the running backs have begun to start to trusting the blocks, they're letting things set up. They're not so quick to hit the holes. They're taking their time a little bit. But once they do hit the holes, they're finishing the runs, falling forward. There's no falling back. And you're even seeing the offensive line getting down the field, 5-10 yards down the field, pushing the pile. So all of that aggressiveness, you slow the game down, like you guys said earlier, lean on those guys, getting a little chilly. By the fourth quarter, no one wants to hit, and you just make them quit.
I like it. Stinky, I asked you this. Does Jase Latham being in the boot kind of concern you? And what are your thoughts regarding our running backs? And do you have a sleeper that's going to kind of carry us or maybe surprise us the rest of the season as it gets colder? As it gets colder, football, you got to run the ball and play defense. So what are your thoughts, sir? You're on mute.
Still on mute, brother.
Yeah, unfortunately, Stinky is gone.
And so in the audio.
The wig got too hot. But I expect to see, what we've been seeing this year, a heavy dose of McClellan, but you see McClellan and Roydell a lot the first half, but I like to see us kind of pounding with Miller late in the game. I know we talked about it in our production meeting earlier this week. I like to see Jam Miller go into the Bo Scarborough role, like where we use him to close out games like we used Bo Scarborough and Brian Robinson in the past. Definitely I like to see us attack the line of scrimmage, especially Harold Perkins early in the game, to keep them honest. And I think that's our best chance, to be effective in the first half is, to be aggressive towards them. So if we could do that, I think we'll be very successful. But as far as breakout player later in the year, if it's going to be another player at the position, it's going to be Jam Miller. I know everybody clamoring for Justin Haynes, but I don't think we're going to see much of him this year. Next year is going to be his opportunity.
We're going to see him versus Georgia and Atlanta. I'm telling you. I'm calling it right now. I'm telling you. Saving that just for Kirby Smart. Smoot, then Lou, let me get your thoughts on our running backs.
I'm one of the guys, man, that feel like we always look at the running backs and their production based off of yardage. I look at the quality of carry. So, like, my thing is, if it's a 3-yard carry, make sure it's a 3-yard. Three is not less than 3 yards. I want our offense to be able to maintain a progressively offensive line to maintain a progressively increased push throughout the game. Now, what my fear is that we come out and we break, 3 or 4, 12, 15, 20-yard runs in the first 3 or 4 drives, and we kind of go away from it. I still see Tommy Rees doing that in his play calling, but I think with the week off of film study, one thing about it, upward trending Alabama teams, bye weeks have always been like the difference in the season for us. Go back to 2015, that after the bye week, Coker year being the starter, and look at how that offense came out clicking. And it was like the defense it made the defense look that much better because not only are you creating 3 and outs, but every time you get it 3 and out, you're getting at least 3 points. Like our offense in 2015 went from averaging, I think, 24 points a game to 37 or 37.8, something like that, the last 4 games of the season. So from the first 8 games to the last 4 games. And it's small stats that make you wonder, like, how much a bye week really matters. And we saw the last couple of years, the staff that we had they didn't play into that usual feeling of coming off a bye week. But this staff, for some reason, I feel like our team gets better during the game for the first time in so long. And that's the running backs included. Jase McClellan got so calm by the middle of the second quarter. We saw the effects of a patient running back letting things develop in front of him, trusting his O-line to get to their spots and not rush them to their spots and let the lane develop instead of trying to create a lane. So, but honestly, if I had to say a back that was going to go off this game, only because of opportunities and the way they're going to present themselves, it'll be Roydell Williams, because most of his runs, I think they're going to be cap-off drive runs, because Jase will be doing the workload, but Roydell will be making some big scoring plays and out of the backfield as far as the running game. Go ahead, Glue.
I feel like our running backs have been probably the most consistent position group on our team this year. They've been the, as I like to call, the blue collar heroes of this team this year. They're the only position group that consistently shows up and what I like to say packs a lunch. And I feel that we have, especially now that we had a bye week, and our running back room is probably the more prideful group because they have the leadership and they have the experience. And, let's face it, they've been running behind an offensive line and they've been able to block for the since we hired Doug Monroe. So they're used to getting no blocks and running through it. So I feel that Jase McClellan, Roydell Williams, and I feel that Jan Miller is actually going to be the player of the game. I do agree with everybody else that said it because he brings a little bit of a different element. Yes, Jase is nasty. He's slick. He can break tackles. Roydell is physical. He's quick. He can get in and out of cuts. But Jan Miller brings that he going to punch you in the face every time he runs it, no matter if it's 1 yard, no matter if it's 20. You're going to feel his 215 pounds every time. And LSU don't have the defense to deal with that this year. Their defensive line, I feel that honestly that our running backs, they're not going to steal the show. They're going to be my second team player of the game because I got somebody else in store for later. But I feel that our running backs are going to be probably our the most stable position because they ain't gonna get stopped. There ain't nobody on the defense that can tackle them. I don't care about Harold Williams or Harold Perkins or whatever his name is. He's a tiger. Ain't no tiger tackling an elephant in open space. That's what I got for y'all. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I love it. I love it. So, speaking about positions, let's talk about this. I know I'm throwing little nuggets there, left and right. Speaking about
position,
I swear I be on it, bro. I don't even have to say that. I just catch me.
Let's talk about key matchups. And I'm gonna start on the offensive side of the ball. I'll let some of you all do offense. I think our biggest key matchup is Tommy Rees versus that defensive coordinator. I think if Tommy Rees is in his bag, and I say this, I think Coach Saban unleash in the playbook, creative runs, Jalen Milroe running the ball, things we haven't showed. I think that's our biggest matchup. So I'm putting it on Tommy Rees, and I think we might have a little surprise with Kendrick Law. So that's my 2 cents versus the key matchups topic versus LSU. Blaze?
So for me, watching LSU, the secondary is not the normal LSU secondary, but there is an area where I have seen LSU get gashed. And quite frankly, I don't know that they've played a team that has the talent that Alabama has at the position. Look for Amari Niblack to have a huge game in this one. LSU has been susceptible to the tight ends. And listen, I think they're going to pool a lot of resources to make sure they don't get beat deep by Isaiah Bond, by Burton, by Law, because traditionally this year, this LSU secondary, like I said, they're ranked right there with USC's secondary at like 113 in the nation out of 133 teams. It's bad. It's impressively bad. But because it's so impressively bad, I think they're going to pool so many resources to make sure they don't get beat deep. Amari Niblack is going to feast. I still think he's one of the most gifted tight ends in the nation. I don't think college football has even scratched the surface of what he can do. I think that kid is going to put people on notice the first time he gives an opportunity.
Love it. Chris, James?
My key matchup is Alabama secondary against those receivers from LSU. I believe that that will pretty much dictate the game. If we can limit Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas and Kyron Lace, we can limit those guys, man. The minimal games, just come up and tackle them after the catch. We can't let them beat us over the top, and we can't let them get yards after the catch. So if we can just make it hard, make life hard on them, just get really physical with them, and and just eliminate the big plays. We can do that. Then I just really believe that we can beat them by more than a touchdown. Like I expect us to play the crowd to be loud, for Brian Denning to be lit. You know what I'm saying, on Saturday night. So and the players to feed off their energy. So I'm calling for those outside guys, those three corners. Well, even if Malachi's in the slot, those 4 guys that we know that are probably lined up at some point of the game, in the slot or on the outside, and Malachi, Kool-Aid, Arnold, and Amos. I expect for them to play big, man, and that's the key matchup. The just our DBs against their wide receivers. That's the key matchup I would like to see.
Love it. Chris Owens.
I think my key matchup will be our interior 3 against Wingo and Mason Smith. Whether it's Darian or Jaden on the right guard, Seth and T-Book, I'm really not worried about the edge rushers too much. I think our tackles are more than equipped to deal with that, even if it's Proctor against Harold Perkins. We're going to institute some way to help him out. And I do believe that if it's a matchup of him trying to bull rush Caden Proctor, then we win that every time. But those interior 3 guys, they really have to have a big day, especially with how much inside zone we run as a team. I think getting those guys to get some push up the middle, not getting the pocket pushed back in the passing game and forcing Milrow to break the pocket, break contain, letting him feel comfortable in the pocket, letting our running back set up the block so we can get up to the second level. I think those 3 guys will be really instrumental in us having success on the ground.
I like it. Dan?
Oh, I'm glad y'all left me. I want my matchup is I'm looking at is our edge guys against their tackles. Let me see, their tackles, Emory Jones and Will Campbell, both of them sophomores. Will Campbell was a highly rated 5-star. Emory Jones was a highly rated 4-star. But our guys should be able to get after it. You know what I'm saying? That's a matchup. I don't think either one of them should be able to handle Dallas Turner or Braswell. But like I said, I want us to be able to attack them from the edge, but not get too far upfield. If somebody can pass that message on to Coach Steele for me. But that's a matchup that I think we're going to be able to take advantage of. And I want to throw the matchup like let's not let the little tight end, I forgot his name, Taylor, Mason Taylor. Let's not let him have the game that he had last year.
I agree. Coach Smook.
For me, guys, it's going to be the key matchup for me is going to be Kevin Steele and our defense versus pre-snap motion. If you go look at what LSU does with pre-snap motion and how they generally like to provide Jaden Daniels with 3 options every time he has pre-snap motion. I don't care where the motion come from. Every play, he's going to fake a handoff, whether it's a jet sweep, whether it's the dive, whether it's, a read option look. They do the jet sweep with read option action, keeping linemen, behind the lineman scrimmage for eligible passes downfield. They're very disciplined in that play calling style, which is what makes them look explosive, because if you try to get too pretty with it, if you can't match up across the board with your base formation, they'll get you in a personnel group, and like Tennessee did early, and they'll expose it. So I'm curious to see how Kevin Steele, what type of base defense or primary personnel grouping we put our defense in against their offense, because honestly, that's the difference in stopping Jaden Daniels. It's not about what he calls. It's about the personnel he have out there. You need to have a speedy, aggressive sure tackling linebacker, and I think we have 2 in Lawson and Campbell, which allow you to let those guys either blitz, spy, match zone underneath. Like, all these different things are possibilities when the pre-snap is taken care of. So that's going to be the key matchup for me. A player to highlight in that pre-snap, somebody that needs to be disruptive, is going to be Deontay Lawson, whether he's stepping into the passing lane whether he's jumping into the pitch lane for the QB read option, speed option, whether he's forcing the look, because Jaden Daniels, they run a different style of read option. They don't necessarily read the man on the end of the line of scrimmage. They go second level a lot of times when they have the tight end as the H back. They have the H back in. So it's a lot of things that I think Kevin still is glad that he had an extra week to prep for. So that's my key matchup in this game. This defense, Kevin Steele defense, and our players versus this LSU pre-snap motion.
Lou?
Now listen, I've been on this guy since the beginning of the season. The key matchup in this game is Tommy Rees. Tommy Rees needs to have a game plan to checkmate this LSU defense. Like Blaze said earlier, this defense is not the defenses of LSU we've seen of old. This defense is very susceptible to passes, and they're also very susceptible to runs on the inside tackle and quarterback runs. So, like somebody said in the chat earlier, this is Tommy Rees's actual game to see if he's going to actually measure up and to see if he's going to be around next season. Because let's be for real, he has not done anything extraordinary to make me believe personally that he deserves to be here next year. And I feel that this game might be the game that he actually throws the book at people, because we saw a little bit of Kendrick Law, and I am the biggest Kendrick Law, Jahad Campbell fan. But Kendrick Law, I mean, just get the man the rock. But I also feel that my support in Jalen Milroe, this defense ain't got nothing for Jalen. Jalen's about to, you know what? I'm going to say it tonight. I'm going to be bold. This is Luke Kiffin, and you can spot me on it. This is going to be Jalen Milroe's introduction to his Heisman performance this weekend. I'm going to predict that Jalen Milroe goes completely bonkers in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Flat out.
Bam, 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 bam.
Hey, you know what's crazy that you said something about his Heisman talk? He's number 8 right now. As far as mentions in Heisman, he was number 11 after the Texas A&M win when he went for 300. So I think the only thing holding Jalen Milroe right now, holding him back, taking them sacks early in the game, putting the offense in bad, because he'll put us in bad situations that make hero plays. Guys, before we move to the next subject, I'm getting tired of hearing this, y'all. I want y'all to this Brian Kelly and Tommy Rees relationship stuff. Like, I don't think there's a factor. I know people want to try to make up this thing like there's a factor there, but Tommy Rees literally has not. You go and look at how he played under Kelly when he played at Notre Dame. That was not a functional relationship, y'all. that was not a functional relationship. That was a luck of the Irish type year when they finally made it, you know. But I want y'all to take on it. Like, do y'all really feel like there's any correlation to or relation or familiarity? Because
he's running Bama's offense now. He's not running that Notre Dame offense. He had to adapt to what Alabama did.
Yeah, I don't think it's any familiarity, but I do think Tommy Rees is internally motivated to prove a point to Brian Kelly.
If anything, that's what I said.
I think he's going to take it personal, and to lose point, he's going to get in this bag, in this playbook with Milroe, in my opinion. So, Coach Lou,
listen, I'm going to take a little bit of a sense of the day, the Halloween aspect of it. Like, listen, I look at Tommy Rees as Luke Skywalker right now, and because I hate Chip Kelly, he's going to be Darth Vader. So I'm pretty sure that Luke Skywalker went with Yoda, which we all know is the GOAT, Nick Saban. So in this situation, I fully think that Nick Saban has washed Tommy Rees of all those, what's the word I want to say?
Impurities.
Catholic impurities.
Unnecessary habits that Chip Kelly or whatever, Brian Kelly or whatever Kelly family member forced on Tommy at his time at the Notre Dame College in the North. This is the South. We do things a little bit differently down here. And I think Nick Saban done put his hands on this young man enough to give him an opportunity to say, listen, you're going to have an opportunity to slap your stepdaddy in the face this weekend in Tuscaloosa. What are you going to do about that, Tommy Rees? And I think Tommy Rees is going to step to the plate and hit a Sammy Sosa-sized home run on it. And Jalen Milroe going to punch that ticket to the Heisman conversation because all these naysayers, and I'm sick of it. We're going to put an end to this conversation right now on the Bama Standard Final Whistle Show. If you ain't on the Jalen Milroe train, then you might as well retire the A off your chest.
Oh, I thought you was about to cuss, boy. I had it ready. I was ready, boy. I was ready this week, boy.
I love it.
I was ready, boy.
I don't need to. You better get on the Jalen Milroe train because he's leading us to the Natty. Get on it.
I love it. Well, Coach Lou spoke his words. It sounds like who his player of the game is. Coach Lou, since you said Milroe's going to be your de facto player of the game, let's get into score predictions and players of the game. And Coach Lou, since you got all the fire and the emotion coming out, let us get your score prediction for the game on Saturday.
Now, listen, I think this is going to be an interesting game. The first couple of drives, I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a hand fighting, a little bit of a shadow boxing match. But then Kevin Steele's going to have his will with this LSU like he has in the past. I think that's what puts us over in this game, and our defense continually punching Jaden Daniels in the face, not allowing him those lanes that he can just leak out through and rush to the side. And if he does leak out through, he's going to hit the hammer, and that's called the Bama hammer. I think my score prediction right now, and I didn't even really think about it before now, I'm going to say, because I got to give Riker some love, I'm going to say 38-10 Alabama. Roll Tide.
10?
Man, 10.
10. I don't like that offense, and I hate Tigers almost as much as I hate the Orange, and that's a whole lot. I don't think them Tigers, I think like we held 7. You remember, and that's why I got my score. They got a decent kicker. I feel like in the end of the game, they might get in field goal range, and they might get a touchdown off our 3rd, 4th string. But I can tell you something. Our 1st and 2nd string and possibly our 3rd string ain't surrendering a touchdown on Nick Saban's birthday week, and that's what I got.
Let's go. Let's go. Chris James, I want to hear your thoughts about your predictions and players of the game.
Man, I like the how optimistic Lucian is on that. And I definitely settle for that. But my player of the game, I'm going to go in games like this. You go with you ride your horses, right? And as good as Jase McClellan has been playing, I'm going Jermaine Burton with LSU's secondary, like either beat up, suspended, whatever they are, with depleted secondary. I expect Burton to really get off, a la Texas A&M. Maybe not to that extent, but I believe he'll have 100 yards receiving, a touchdown or 2. I believe he's going to get off. He's my offensive MVP. My defensive MVP is going to be Jahad Campbell. I think he's going to make life miserable on the LSU offense. And Will Reichert, of course, special teams player of the game. With that being said, I believe we come out and send a message. And I think at home, behind that crowd, and they're getting the momentum going and building off of that second half performance against Tennessee, I'm going to go Bama big. Bama 45, LSU 27.
I like it.
27 points?
Yep.
Yeah, because they're going to score, man. Let's keep it real, man. It's like probably the best, most talented offense in the nation.
They ain't going to score, Chris.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. Easier said than done. It ain't so much about it, just the fact that
you respect them. You respect them.
Yeah, and I don't just to hold them up, to be able to hold them under 30. That's
a feat in itself. I feel where you come from, Chris.
Like,
but they haven't played a defensive secondary that's in the top 25.
Hey, you use your time. You use your time.
I did.
But at the same time, they have a running game too. You got to respect the offense, man.
We haven't talked about that. They do.
They legit, and I mean that's good. I mean be able to hold them under 30. That's a feat, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's doing something.
Can I go next, Matt?
Go ahead.
Yeah, on you, Coach Smook.
Hey, Chris, I agree with what you're saying, but that, man, I'm telling you, this run, and I was trolling. I don't trust their run game against this defensive front that we have. I don't trust it. I don't see it being as explosive. LSU's rushing attack has only been successful when Jaden Daniels has 15 or more carries.
Okay.
You're putting do you think they going to put Jaden Daniels in 15 designed situations for him to go against this front the way that offensive line has been struggling? I don't think so. That's just me.
It ain't necessarily designed. It's not necessarily designed. Just the fact that Jaden Daniels is so doggone good off platform. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but that's what I'm saying.
We don't have. Yeah, I'm still having nightmares from last year, man. That dude and I've seen him this year. I'm not saying it's gonna take more than that to beat us, but it's just the fact that you got to dude is just a talented.
He's a baller.
He's not as fast as Milroe, but as far as like a runner, a scrambler, he's almost just as talented, man. He's not fast as Milroe, but as far as a runner, you're not gonna find 5 better running quarterbacks in the country than Jay.
He's elusive.
Yeah, but that's still is not Pete Golding.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
Still,
10. That's
10 is too low. Here go mine. I'm gonna give y'all my prediction. Here you go. I got players of the game. Defensively, I'm gonna go with Tim Keenan. I think Tim Keenan is really gonna set the tone for this defense. Ooh. For real. I feel like he might not have 4 or 5 sacks. He might not have 4 or 5 tackle for losses. But him demanding so much attention in the interior, causing so much havoc, is going to disrupt everything that this LSU offense is used to being able to do. It's based off of timing. You only going to get away with those quick screens out to the perimeter so many times. We see our DBs can come up and play that aggressive. So I think Tim Keenan is the key. He's going to be the player on that defensive side. Offensively, I'm going to go away from everybody's picks because I know it's a few names being thrown out there. I think it's a name that we forgetting about. And this kid he's been in the shadows, but a game like this where a team is down 3 or 4 starters in the secondary, you're gonna have to match what your best available is up against our best, which is Jermaine Burton and Isaiah Bonds. The third guy is Malik Benson. I think Malik Benson finally has a freaking game where we notice him and we finally realize who he is, not because of the talent, but because Milroe is more confident after a week of film study, of a week of this is what we're trying to do with our offense now. This offense has found its identity. Will they stick with it? I don't know. This game will be the case. It'll give us the answer to that. Score prediction. I say Alabama. I'm going to be right there with Chris. I'm going to go Alabama 48. Almost busting a 50 piece. Almost busting a 50. I think we just stuttered one drive too many early in the first half and have to punt one time extra too much. But I think we have a game where we end up with, like, let's say we get 14 possessions. We average about 17 possessions a game. So say we get 15, 16 possessions. I think we score on 11 of those. And I'm not talking about just touchdowns. I'm talking about a mixture of field goals and touchdowns. So you give us 11 different scoring opportunities. You get around that 40-point mark. I think we disrupt Jaden Daniels enough to keep them under 30 this game. So I'm going to go 48. Alabama, LSU, late 21-24. So 48-24, Alabama.
Blaze?
Good stuff.
Yeah, so listen, I said earlier, I think LSU's got the best offense in the nation, and I think that's going to really help Alabama's case when Alabama beats them and they try and get into the college football playoff, because I even think that the playoff committee values LSU's offense. They certainly don't value their defense. They don't play defense this year. So when I look at this, I already talked about Amari Niblack. That's going to be my player to watch on Alabama's offense, just because LSU has been abysmal at trying to stop anybody from passing the ball. First off, I know I've said this 3 times, but if you've kept up with Alex Grinch secondaries, they've been not good, impressively not good. And this LSU defense is right up there. Now, here's the thing, guys. We have a like opponent, an Ole Miss. Ole Miss put up 55 on LSU. Yeah? Was that right?
Yeah.
Something like that, 55? We held Ole Miss to 10. All right.
That's correct.
Here's my score prediction. 38-20. And I think that the 20 comes with Jaden Daniels and LSU being the best offense in the nation. They're going to find ways to score early, but they can't stop anything on defense. And Alabama is going to be able to catch them and then just keep on rolling. 38-20, Alabama. That's the score.
Yes, sir.
Dan?
Oh, yeah. Well, guys, I think they're gonna put up some points, but not the point that people think they're gonna put up. I got Alabama 34, LSU 20. 3 of those coming in the second half. But my offensive player of the game, I got to go with Chris on this one, is Jermaine Burton. This seems to be his type of game. I expect him to torch, LSU secondary. Defensive player of the game, I'm going to go with somebody, that was in the first quarter of our season was our best defensive back. That's going to be Malachi Moore. I look for him to have a huge game this game. And I see us, keeping it, keep the game being kind of close to start, the first half, but we're going to continue to do what we've been doing lately in the second half, which is pull away and impose our will on teams. So I think we're going to be able to bleed the clock a little bit in the second half. So I'm predicting a Bama victory.
Chris Owens?
Yeah. By the way, I was informed by someone in the chat that Wingo isn't playing. I looked it up. I think he's at the surgery.
He's not playing.
He's out for the season.
I think that even adds more to who my player of the game is going to be. I'm going to go with Jase. I think we're gonna wear him down up front. They'll be so paranoid with how we can pass the ball. I don't think there's anybody in that secondary that can cover Burton or any of our receivers. And so if they start to drop 8, rush 3, or maybe even only having 4 people in the box, kind of leaking the linebacker out to the apex, I think that'll open up a lot of space, a lot of ground for us to take on the ground in the run game. So I'm going to go with Jase. On the defensive side, I'm going to go with Braswell. I think that last game he had kind of gave him some confidence. He pretty much looked unblockable that game. He has speed. He can win with speed, power. He's got a deep bag of pass rush moves he can go to. And with the struggling offensive line, especially with how much we move, wouldn't be surprised if he got a sack on a one-on-one, then came around and got another sack on like a ET or something like that. So I'm going to go with him. And then my score prediction is going to be 41-20. I think LSU scores. I think we kind of get like a bend don't break mentality after a while. They'll move the ball because they do have a talented offense, talented quarterback. But I've noticed that our red zone defense is starting to pick up a little bit. We're getting stops, and I'm confident that we won't allow them to just freely run into the end zone.
I love it. I'm going to round this thing out. I'm going to give you my prediction. I got Alabama 41, LSU 20. I'm going to stick with what Chris is going on. And my players of the game, I think it's going to be the whole defense. I think the whole defense is kind of going to, limit Jaden Daniels, limit that running game. They might have explosive play here and there late, but that's all I'm giving them. And offensively, I think it's going to be the offensive line. I think they're going to do their thing up front. So that's my prediction. So, yeah.
Quick.
Anything? Yeah. What do you want to say?
Quick thing, man. I see these LSU fans in the chat. This time of the show where we kind of try to get get back to acknowledging a lot of the chats, man. This was a show we haven't been able to have a show in about a week. So this show, we want to really get in on the LSU takes. But I see a lot of LSU fans keep talking about, Alabama can't score 40 and this, that, and the third. This offense has had a week to actually sit back and really collect and digest the amount of growth that they've been able to go through this season. You talking about sitting your starting quarterback for a whole game, that put you behind the power curve. You came into the season with a new quarterback, a new offensive coordinator, a freshman left tackle, a guard that switched, from right side to left. You had different position switches on the offensive line. Your wide receivers were unproven. You come into and coming in this game against, 3 top 50 ranked defenses. LSU has only played one top 50 ranked defense this whole season. And the team that they played against that was top 50 ranked wasn't even FSU at the time. You get what I'm saying? That was week 1. That was just a green. So they got a green FSU defense. They just like FSU got a green LSU offense. We got film. We got all these weeks of close, big scoring games that they've played. I just think it doesn't end well for LSU. As good as this offense and explosive as they can be, it doesn't end well when you got Kevin Steele on the other side of that other side of that field and all that talent at his disposal, man. This defensive line is probably the deepest we've had in probably like 5 years, man. Like actually guys that can be impactful. So I'm excited to see this matchup, man.
Let me interject right here. I'm looking at the comment section from Tiger for Life. Bama has one of the worst offenses in the country, and J.M. Milroe is a one-trick pony with the deep ball.
Good thing y'all secondary isn't.
Do you not see your secondary?
LSU is ranked
Well,
at 100.
linebackers.
So
Your safeties are your leading
Like
tackles. That means your linebackers and your linemen
LSU
ain't
just had to
nothing.
put their safety at cornerback because they have so little help at the cornerback.
and let me
That's
say
not
look,
where
I
I
like
would
this.
be talking.
And let me say this. Jalen Milroe, wouldn't you guys say that A&M's defense is light years better than LSU's?
Yeah, the front seven.
1,000 times better.
Oh, for sure.
What did Milroe do to A&M's defense?
Something like 300 plus passing yards or something like that.
Hey,
Gentlemen, if I may,
With
real fast,
two NFL DBs on they secondary in A&M right now, they're getting rated.
Gentlemen, if I may, real fast, I do want to address this. Tiger for Life says LSU hasn't lost a home game and we're better than Texas. Well, it's a good thing that the game's at Alabama. So strike number 2, Tiger.
So are you really an LSU fan? First of all, that's the real question.
It's wrong.
Hey, listen, it's World Series time. I'm ready in here for strike number 3. Swings to the plate. I'm here. I'm going up.
Come on.
Blaze is here.
Can we further put on the point that their top 2 out of 3 tacklers are safeties? That means they don't tackle anybody in the front 7 or stop anybody for that matter. And their DBs can't tackle. So I really fail to see what's his name? Tiger for Life? Is he a Clemson?
Oh,
fan,
he not coming back after the game. I guarantee it.
Oh,
Tiger for
no,
life.
he's not.
Tiger for life. If you will go hard or go home, show back up, post game
Please
show
come
for
to
this.
the post-game show.
I will personally give you a shout out and show you some love because it's gonna get ugly for y'all. If Kevin Steele mess around and don't have to come out of his first set, that's bad. Because now he gets to play around and send these exotic 5-man blitzes against your struggling offensive line. Now he can walk a safety down and play man and play one high and use Jalen Key in his best skill set, which is bait, robber, technique. Like Chris was highlighting earlier, man, we got the talent
I think they're
everywhere.
going to try and rely on keeping a safety up and keeping that run game contained with the athletic linebacker play. Because listen, let's give credit where it's due. This passing attack is a different animal.
It's different,
right,
yes.
for LSU. And Jaden Daniels is a different quarterback, no doubt about that, right? Like I do believe this is the best offense in the nation.
Yeah,
but because of that, I think they're going to try and keep that second safety up high and rely on the athletic play of the linebacker to keep him there.
Yep. Don't mess around and let them be able to gap contain and control the run game with 4. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me be able to sit both my inside linebackers 5 to 7 yards off that line of scrimmage and lean towards the line of scrimmage and be impactful in the spot. Don't let Kevin Steele have it because it's over with then.
I have a question for the panel, just randomly, just off the top of my head. Didn't at the University of Alabama, we had this quarterback that was elusive, that could create on a dime, and our secondary, specifically Malachi Moore, Terrion Arnold, and Kool-Aid, had to go against him for at least the last 2 years. So I am, without a doubt, going to say that Bryce Young's better than Jay Daniels because that's just who I am. And I feel like that they're going to be ready. And they're going to bring they're packing the lunch and then some on Saturday.
I agree.
Jaden Daniels better bring his Matt Cardell Bob the Builder hard hat because it's going to get ugly in Tuscaloosa on Saturday for him.
Speaking of that, I don't think I need Alabama to wear is that put on their black Air Force Ones. We need black Air Force One energy and put on
black do-rag.
Put on that Pooh Shiesty mask that Chris Owens has.
I need to see Newports being smoked on the sideline.
I want a black wood tip little filter outside the locker room when we come. I want that mug still lit. Outside.
I want Saban to walk to the podium at halftime or at the end of the game with that white cup. Like, listen, I done told y'all. Listen.
I'm
just not going to do it. All right.
No. I do this for real. Believe me on that.
Speaking of beating LSU, it's that time of the year of the show where we get our closing comments and you can find out what it reaches of our OnlyFans. And so who do we want to start? Coach?
Start it with me because I'm gonna be a little bit disappointing this evening. I have a fairly generic one, but that's because listen. I gotta let other people shine. Blaze came from Lithuania. That in and of itself is something. So listen here. You think this hair doesn't come with something glorious? I got something for you. Alabama playing LSU, always one of the biggest games of the year. Really what I believe is developing into a true rivalry in the SEC. If I was the SEC, I would be marketing it as the brand new rivalry in the conference because I think it could carry a huge viewership every single year. But you think I grow this hair out and present myself to you and that I wouldn't be the Tiger King on this week? But you can find me this week on OnlyFans at the Tiger King, and we'll be training them tigers. We'll be getting them right. Sometimes they get a little cantankerous, and then I have to come in and get them back in order. But it's a hard job. Someone's got to do it.
I love it. I'll go next. So, as you can see, I got my hard hat on, Matt the Builder here. So. Since I'm in construction this week, my promo code is Laying the Pipe, where we will be fixing and power driving all drywalls using my jackhammer, using my power driving. And since I'm building up buildings, I will keep buildings erect. That's it for me, folks. Smooth.
I can't.
All right.
You gotta come back to me.
I got you.
Oh, go, Lou.
All right.
Go, Lou.
You can find me on Twitter at RowLoose21. Also on Instagram and Facebook on Lucian Graves, if you care to follow. But this weekend, exclusively, especially on OnlyFans, you can find me stroking bangles from different angles.
Oh my!
OnlyFans at Tiger Style. We stroke
my!
them long to the heavy dawn. Let's go, y'all. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, baby.
This is a Christian show.
My mom's watching this, man. Come on. Dad, it's on you, brother.
Oh, y'all want man? You know I like to go last, man.
I got you. I'm okay. I'll go. See, this week, y'all. Listen here. Coach Smoot won't be on the show. Probably won't be on next week. But you got Lil Ray and is that a lullaby here? You can catch me on Coach Smoot's OnlyFans. You know where to catch Coach Smoot. Catch me on Coach Smoot's OnlyFans singing sweet lullabies to them kitties at I Can See the Note. All right, that's the promo code. I can see the note. I can see what. Can I see? I think I see. I hear it. So that's good enough. Y'all make sure y'all go check me. Hey, don't forget either, y'all. Blind Man in the booth this weekend. We got LSU Friday in the revamp preview. Y'all turned up last week against the last game against Tennessee. I had some of my boys come in from the league, y'all, and the support that y'all show, the way y'all interact, the way y'all try to call plays and all that stuff, y'all, is like something I've never seen before. Get what I'm saying? So y'all just continue to support. I appreciate the love. And yeah, man, we're gonna take it from there, man. I hate that you went first, Matt. I hate that you went before me. Cause I was gonna sing to that kitty. I had my song written out and everything, bro. I was gonna sing to the kitties, bro.
You gonna make that kitty purr?
That thing gonna do something.
Make that tiger all sorts of
take that mother to Pound Town. That's Peau. However you spell it.
hey, you can catch us at Tuscaloosa Avenue all late night. That's our joint page where we
take that mother to Pound Town, baby.
Chris Owens. Chris Owens.
Go, Chris. Oh Lord.
No damn.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I got a concert to go to. I can't really drop my location. I got people looking for me, but you can catch me in the after party after the game on Saturday. I'll drop the location once I'm gone, so y'all can pull up once I'm not there, so nobody can find me.
Oh, okay.
That one threw me off for a second. I was like, wait, where we going? But then we not being there. What's going on?
All right. First off, man, look me up on social media on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr., on Instagram at CKJ Senior 32, and on Twitter at Coach Chris James. And since we're dealing with that, the Cajun country this week, my promo code this week will be beating up Cajun Kitty. Bayou Kitty, baby.
Bayou Kitty.
And that's Cajun Kitty. That's Cajun with a K, Kitty with a CK. Come on now.
We're going to turn them Bayou Bengals into the Puddle Kittens.
Uh-oh. Look who done pulled up, y'all.
It's stinky.
Oh, stinky back.
Another word. Listen. I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Final Whistle Dan. You know what I'm saying? You can catch him on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now. At Final Whistle Dan. You can catch me every Tuesday night right here on this very network. But this week, Stinky got you. You know what I'm saying? So we're playing them Cajun Bengals. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go with a special delicatessen. You know what I'm saying? So this week, you know what I'm saying? What we're gonna do? We're gonna dedicate, this to the run game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're gonna run them Bodan balls. Only fans handle. Get out of his face.
Get out of his face.
And folks, that's the final whistle. Roll Tide to Alabama.
Hold on. Before we go, remember tomorrow night, don't forget at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, you have CC show. Dynasty.
Hey,
tomorrow night.
That's
Freaky, man. Also,
that's a secret OnlyFans.
Crazy. And also at 9:15 Eastern, 8:15 Central, George Teague's take. He along with his son JT. Their show are the hosts. Their shows after that. So tune in tomorrow night to the Alabama Standard Network. We appreciate you guys.
And that's
hey y'all, last thing. LSU, I'm gonna be your new mascot, LSU. Cause with these eyes and y'all's Tigers, y'all ain't seeing no natty this year. Bye.
Workplace Solutions. Bengals.
Hit that like and subscribe button. And I ain't playing.
Bengals.
Workspace Solutions.
I hate Tigers. Workspace Solutions.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, y'all.
Noises.